So we've had quite an eventful week. A lot of stuff has been going on. So I figured, we would just make a quick video going over everything. We had Trump turn himself in. We had the GOP debate. Uh, Elon Musk is getting sued. All types of stuff going on. So the first thing we'll get into is Trump turning himself in Fulton County, Georgia. So, the latest on arrests in Fulton County election interference case, former President Donald Trump was arrested at the Fulton County Jail on felony charges in connection with efforts to overturn the 2020 presidential election results in Georgia. Um, which I don't necessarily agree with that statement. But that's besides the point. In a first of his four indictments this year, Trump had his mugshot taken. It was released shortly after he left the jail. This was a big mistake by them. First of all, there's a law in Georgia where, if you arrest a famous person and they have, recent pictures, which we all know Donald Trump's face is everywhere, you do not have to take a mugshot. But this mugshot has easily become an iconic photo. This thing is going to be around forever. This is going to be a very famous and historical photo, and it has done nothing but help Donald Trump. This was a completely unnecessary step by Fannie Willis, and it backfired on her. Um, yeah, I mean, Trump's fan base is loving it. They're loving it. Um, Trump used a local bail bondsman, and he already posted his bond. The Fulton County Jail, where Trump was booked, has a history of violence and poor conditions, which I'll talk about a little later. District Attorney Fannie Willis oversaw the sweeping investigation and the racketeering charges against Trump and 18 co-defendants, which is, again, crazy. They charge him with racketeering. She's charging him with a RICO charge. That's what they use for gangs. This was brought because of mobsters, this law. This is ridiculous. How she's going to prove, with the RICO charge, it's usually like an organized criminal gang doing things for profit, whether it's selling drugs, alcohol back in the prohibition, prostitution, human trafficking. Uh, how they're going to try to spin this is beyond me. Um, how supposedly trying to overturn an election turns into RICO. This is a huge, huge stretch, and I think she chose this road because she didn't know what to charge him with. She just knew she wanted to charge him. That's what her whole campaign to become DA was about. I'm gonna arrest Donald Trump, and she's true to her word. I'll give her that. But I think it's gross, it's negligent, it's corrupt. We should not be using the Department of Justice to prosecute the leader of the opposition. We should not be arresting former presidents. And this set a very bad precedent for future politics. I don't think this is the last time we're going to see this. If they're prosecuting Donald Trump, they have to prosecute Joe Biden and especially Hunter Biden. Um, I mean, the racketeering, the RICO case would fit way better for the Bidens. Just a whole outline of the charge, criminal organization, the Biden crime family. They are profiting off of it, as we all know. They're receiving illegal money from all of these countries. So, yeah, hopefully we see the Biden family go down. They deserve to go to prison for sure.
She said basically, I don't have any right to challenge an election. Well, what about Stacey Abrams? What about Hillary Clinton? What about all of these Democrats that are still challenging my election?
And that's exactly right. What about them? It seems to me that they have immunity from all charges. Why do they have immunity? Simply because they're Democrats. Simply because Democrats are running things right now, and it's ridiculous how you can charge Trump for this and not Hillary and not Joe Biden. Joe Biden has a shit ton of classified documents from when he was vice president, right? That's crazy. How can he not be arrested for that when Trump's being arrested for having documents as president? You know, one's worse than the other. They're both illegal. One's worse than the other. Only Trump's going to jail. Now, I would be completely okay with these charges if it weren't only Donald Trump. If they charged Hillary, I'd be fine with it. If they charged Joe Biden, I'd be fine with it. Um, Same thing with challenging the election, like you just heard Trump say. Hillary's been challenging him being elected. Why isn't it illegal for her to do it? This is selective prosecution. This is a bad example. This is not good for our country. It's evil. It's led by hatred, and the citizens need to step up and do something about it. Whether you like Trump or not, this is not good for the United States in any way, shape, or form. Um, and like I said, you don't have to like Trump, but if you love America, you should speak up because it's wrong. So let's check out this article. This is from July 15th of this year. It's by George Chitty, I think is how you pronounce it. The Real Behind the Wall, a look inside the infamous, deadly Fulton County Jail. This is the jail that Trump was just booked and processed in, had his mugshot taken in. The shock and horror of LaShawn Thompson's death last fall only scratches the surface of the jail's problems. Figures released by the sheriff last year show that the facility averages more than one stabbing a day. The jail is overcrowded and suffers from disrepair exacerbated by staffing problems. Here, an in depth look at what is happening inside the Rice Street facility. Rice Street is the nickname that they call the jail because of the street it's on. Now just take a look at this picture. That's disgusting. This is what we have inmates living in. It doesn't matter if they're inmates. It doesn't matter if they committed crimes. This is what we have people living in. That is disgusting. This is inhumane, and this is a huge problem. It's a problem that this jail is allowed to remain open. This is crazy. No wonder why so many people are dying inside of this facility. It's gross. LaShawn Thompson was the seventh person to die in custody of Fulton County last year, but his death was the one that finally caught the world's attention. It took a scene so squalid that the deputy who discovered it fled to retch. Thompson was found in a filthy cell on the medical wing of the Rice Street jail, covered in lice and in his own waste. His head in a toilet. Just days before, the same deputy had voiced concern over Thompson's living conditions. Um, that's sick. This jail has a huge problem with scabies and lice. They had a thing where I forgot a very high percentage of the population had one or the other, and a very large percentage of the population had both. That is insane that this is happening in America. And this is where we booked in our former and possible future president. His death in September was only one of 15. One of 15 in the year. A grim record that made Fulton County one of the deadliest jails in the country during the pandemic. At least three more people have died this year. Wow. In April, Thompson's family announced a lawsuit. Amid new scrutiny, Fulton County Sheriff Pat Labat accepted the resignation of three employees, including the chief jailer, and called for a new medical services contractor in a push to draw support for a multi-billion-dollar replacement. He also began inviting the media in for a closer look at how the 34-year-old facility has fallen apart. And 34-year-old facility, I don't think that's that old for a jail or a prison. Um, so it's just pure negligence that it's fallen apart like this. They need to shut this place down. Uh, they just want the money. I hope they use that money for a new prison and they don't let it go to shit like this one. The shock and horror of Thompson's death only scratched the surface of the jail's problems. Figures released by the sheriff last year showed that the facility averages more than one stabbing a day. The jail is overcrowded and suffers from disrepair exacerbated by staffing problems. Maintenance workers say they don't always feel safe enough to work. Earlier this year, three sheriff deputies were arrested and as many months on charges ranging from sexual contact with prisoners to facilitating an attempted murder. Others, both deputies and unsworn staff, have been fired for misconduct, particularly smuggling drugs. So, I mean, this is a real good use of taxpayer money when you have COs smuggling in drugs, you have employees of the prison facilitating murders. What kind of place is this? What is this? Thompson died on the third floor of the jail's north wing, the medical care section of Rice Street, but he wasn't the only one. All right, this is a pretty long article, but I think you guys get the picture of this. Speaking of pictures, let's go and look and see if there are any pictures I can put up here. As you can see, the conditions in there are horrifying. Um, Hopefully, that prison is remodeled, shut down, rebuilt, whatever, sometime soon. Um, yeah, we'll keep following the Trump situation and all this other crazy crap that the left has been doing. See you on the next one.